Rugrats Adventures in Dreamland was a fun distraction, fully completable over a weekend or in a single night for the adventurous. The game follows the gang as they attempt to collect Reptar coins so that they can unlock the Reptar door. In this, it is the end level of the game. You get to control four of the babies, Tommy, Chucky, Phil, and Lil, each having their own individual control style. You'll play through 6 levels, each with its own unique team, though the game takes place entirely within the Rugrats house. Understandable. The game features two-player co-op, which I did not test, and allows you to swap the music and art between the HD and 8-bit versions at will, which was a pretty interesting thing to do, and I really liked that. Though the game takes place entirely in the home, the baby's imagination really brings the level design to life, with many familiar friends and enemies from the show if you've seen it, that is. The game allows you to control any baby at will, and you can freely change your character during the stage. Different characters have their health bars and their own jump and float mechanics. You can easily swap out characters to prevent them from dying because if you do, you lose them. Their milk bottles represent their health bars with extra lives represented by cookies. The game's hand-drawn style emulates TV show almost perfectly in HD mode, and in my opinion, it is one of the more unique aspects of the game. The pixel art version works on a NES console, which I commend the developers for. It's not easy building things for that thing. Though the game's platforming often felt highly unfair, and the enemy spawns took me out way too much times, the game's charm and generally fun boss battles made up for much of it. The boss battle music, reused for almost all other boss battle music, was pretty top notch and easily the best part of the game. The platforming was decent, but there were many times where you would encounter instances where the enemy spawns were rather unfair and required way too much precise platforming and felt quite frustrating to complete as well. There were multiple times during the playthrough of the HD mode when I did not realize there were platforms that I could have used. Swapping to the NES mode, I could see the other pathways, and true to the old school NES games, the enemies respawn if you move a screen away, which takes getting used to, especially if you've forgotten that it was a thing. The game's level design was primarily intuitive. It's very much become a whole left kind of situation. However, there were points in the game where that mentality would throw you into the abyss. The game's level design did seem a bit wonky here and there, but again, I chalk that up to the fact that the game is mostly emulated on NES old school level variety, which often felt completely wild and made little to no sense. The music was mostly good, although if you don't like one track or the other, be prepared to hear it for the entirety of the game. It was constrained because this game targeted both the NES build and a modern PC build. However, as the game progressed, I found the soundtrack taking a bit of a backstage, although I still enjoyed the boss battle music as I mentioned above. Overall, I did enjoy this game. I think it's worth a shot. If you're a collector, this is one for the collection. If you have an actual working NES, then sure, get the physical cart and pop it in. Though though I thought the level design and platforming could use some work, I think it was a fun enough time that would keep you playing, and it's probably a relatively short length, means that you could probably easily knocked out in a single night or throughout a weekend.